Welcome back to the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show alongside Haley Stasiak. I'm Jordan Ham, now joined by 12 Sports, Tresa Tudrick. She does a great job on the Friday Night Fever, as does Coop, as does Cam. They always do a great job each and every Friday night. Tresa, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I'm so excited.
So you have been all over the state this season, seen a ton of teams, but I want to start with the hard-hitting journalism first. Every game you're getting nachos. Which school has had the best nachos so far?
I'm going to have to tease it because we're going to do a bracket breakdown on our finale show. But let me tell you, there's a school in the east side that hooked it up with the jalapenos, the chili cheese. Oh my gosh, it was heavier than I needed two hands to hold. It was the best set of nachos I could describe.
So we'll have to tune into the show to see that.
Yes.
Find out. Okay.
Yes.
I know
nachos.
I know you've seen both Perry and Pinnacle this year. We just had junior quarterback from Perry, Chubba Purdy, on. He mentioned in that first game against Pinnacle he had some jitters as it was his first varsity start. What have you seen out of him and then just this Perry Pumas team throughout this season that's improved the most?
So with Chubba Purdy, what I love about him at quarterback is he's very different than his brother. He puts up big numbers, but his style of play is not the same as Brock. He has a short memory relapse, meaning if he throws an interception, he's able to phase it and shake it off like it never happened. So he's never ruled out of a game, and his numbers, you look at the stats that he has, are just big for especially a first-year starter at varsity. I think he does have those jitters, and he's still kind of trying to figure out how to play to his body size and type. But I think especially next season, he's going to be much more polished and have those jitters out of the way. He'll have already been through a season, not so much looming over Brock Purdy, but he can actually be his own Chubba Purdy. So offensively, I think Perry's been able to do a lot of things. And after Deshane James went down early in the season, before it even started, he kind of had to step up, and I think he's done a great job.
In terms of how this one plays out, we've got J.D. Johnson, another junior quarterback, on the other side of this one. Do you have a prediction for how this one turns out?
You know, it's hard to say. It is J.D. Johnson, although he is a backup quarterback and he had some struggles last game, he has still got offers, big school offers as a backup. So I think he's poised, he's polished, he's much more of a pro-style quarterback, likes to stay in the pocket, but you can't rule him off the ground either. I think just because of how well-rounded Pinnacle is, because defensively they've got some great guys in their secondary as well, I think this one's going to Pinnacle.
Okay.
Sure, it's going to be a good game. There are a lot of really good matchups around the state. What's the most compelling matchup for you this week?
I am eager to see how Higley and Centennial do. I've been at a couple of Higley's games and a couple Centennial, but that Centennial defense is probably one of the best I've seen all season long. They've had, 5 shutout games, and nobody can score on them. They're just densely packed. Coach Richard Taylor obviously has his linemen out there, the big beauties as he calls them. So I'd be curious how a future Pac-12 quarterback kind of plays in that situation.
What do you think the key is going to be for Higley against this Coyote defense this week?
Oh, gosh. I think they have to Richard Taylor doesn't run an up-tempo scheme at all. He's very straight. You know what he's going to do. You know he's going to run the ball. And here's the thing. He's so good that he'll do it, and everybody knows he's going to do it, and they'll still win. So I think they really just can't have any of those mental errors. They can't get phased. They can't get shooken up easily because Centennial will run all over them. Holding them at the line.
On the other side of this 5A bracket, you have Williamsfield and Notre Dame. Both teams are undefeated against teams in Arizona this year. Just what's your big takeaway from this 2-3 matchup?
You know, I like this one because it's not really the quote-unquote marquee matchup. It's not put all over the place. It's not what everybody's talking about. But I like these two teams because I think they're going to have a really good balance against one another. Notre Dame prep, obviously, with Jake Smith is just what everybody's excited about just for what he's been able to do and what he'll do come Saturdays next season. But I think it's just going to be a matter of execution, and it's these games at these points all come down to just a matter of, 1 or 2 plays of a difference. That's what I saw last week at the Highland Liberty game. It wasn't so much that Highland was the better team, but they had a few more better plays, if that makes sense. So I think that's what it'll be.
Now, this question doesn't carry as much weight now that we are closer to the state title game, but we've been asking media members what their bold predictions or their big predictions are for the state games. Do you have any kind of out there predictions? I know you've seen Highland. You've kind of been a big fan of Highland this season. Are any bold predictions of them against Chandler this week?
You know what? I feel like every time Highland plays a team, they're not necessarily the looked at favorite just because they're balanced in all three phases, but they don't have like a giant go-to player that's your star player. They just really have a lot of good offensive players, defensive players, and on special teams you have Austin, who's just been really great. But Chandler, again, is the powerhouse, especially on the east side. So I think, that's going to be interesting to see. I definitely can't rule Highland out of it because anytime I do, especially even in that Liberty game where I'm like, okay, Liberty's going to win this one. Nope. Highland comes right back. So I'll be curious to see how that one kind of plans out. But I also would not be surprised if we're looking super far ahead if we see Chandler, Centennial, and Saguaro at state again.
So no surprises there.
No surprises.
Tresa, we appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way, and I'm sure we'll see you on a sideline here coming up.
Absolutely. Haley, Jordan, thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a blessed rest of your day.
Thanks, Tresa.
Thanks, Tresa. You too.
Bye.
Tresa Tudrick, 12 Sports. And again, they do a great job with the
always
fever.
all over the place. I know today she's been running around ASU getting stuff done. Yeah, always all over the place. Friday nights too.
And she's cornered the nacho market, so respect to that. So yeah, just some really good stuff. This week, Haley, you mentioned a couple spots you're going to be going to.
I did.
Where are you going to be hitting in the Southeast Valley?
So I'm probably going to start out at Chandler and Highland, see how that one starts getting going, and then I'll be going over to Williamsfield Notre Dame Prep to check out that one. And if this Highland team does what it did last week, I mean, I'm not counting Highland out. I know we all know that. So may have to pull back over there. We'll see how this one pans out.
I will be at Pinnacle and Perry. I saw Pinnacle play already this year, but that was with Spencer Rattler against Liberty. A really good come-from-behind win. This will be the first time I'll see J.D. Johnson with the pads on. I saw him a lot during the 7-on-7s. Very impressive, but looking forward to see him go up against a very good Perry team and seeing this will be the first time I'm seeing Perry as well. So.
And this is the first time I'm actually seeing Notre Dame Prep ever. I've never seen Notre Dame Prep play. So I hear you talk about Notre Dame Prep all the time. I know you've heard me talk about J.D. Johnson all season. So it's going to be fun to see the other side of what we kind of talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think that, when we're looking at these bold predictions that we've been asking media members, Mark McClune, one of the first ones to jump on Perry and say they're going to make a run, they're going to have an upset. They upset Desert Vista. Let's see if they can do that again.
I think, yeah.
Should be
lots of good ones.
Interesting. So this week, if you're out at a game, make sure to use the Friday Night 360AZ hashtag. We'll make sure to retweet that, whether that is on Twitter, use it on Instagram, Facebook, any of the social media happenings. Always make sure to check out Eric's Zone Read. That comes out on Thursdays. He's always super tapped in and plenty of
really good
nuggets. And then AZ Audibles. Each and every week we're breaking everything down. This week we are on the couch talking about some of the new blood in the state semis. So a lot of coverage here on Sports 360 AZ when it comes to high school football. Make sure to check all of that out, and thanks so much for tuning in.